Welcome to the Bureau. Let's begin with a spine corrector flow. So as you see here, I'm just taking a few moments to articulate my spine. I sit tall on the lip of the spine corrector. I roll back, I reach my arms out of my low back, and then I peel up from the top of my spine back tall. Trying to initiate that articulation from the base of my spine. And then I go a little bit deeper as I start warming up, back bending over the spine corrector. My feet firmly planted, sit bones rooted, then I articulate low back, mid back, upper back, neck and head, stretching my arms, lengthening my front spine. Feels so beautiful. Keep a nice two-way stretch so you see my arms continuing to reach away. Finding a strong two-way stretch. Arms reaching, abdomen pulling back, broadening my spine. Now I'm going to take my arms a little bit wider now and draw circles. I'm creating width not only in my upper spine, chest, and the front spine, but also trying to create that width in my back body, the space between my two scapula, energy reaching through all 10 fingers, wide collarbone. And I'll hug myself deeply and open wide. Hug deeply. Good. And as you draw your arms around the front spine to give you a hug, squeeze your forearms together. Draw the shoulder heads back. And then I draw my arms up, nod my chin to my chest, and articulate my spine up. I'm going to hug my knees into my chest. I roll my pelvis under a little bit more to give my pelvis more leverage. And I'm going to begin with my 100. Taking deep breaths, pumping my arms up and down strongly, reaching forward. Finding that oppositional pull back in my center. Legs are light like rays of sunlight. And I'm doing my best to connect belly to back, integrate front body to back body. Continuing to pump from my back, feeling my back connect into that spine corrector, especially the bottom of rib cage, heels squeezing, toes lengthening. And I'll hug my knees into my chest and take a couple more roll-ups on that spine corrector, this time with my legs long, feet looped underneath my strap. Get a nice strong reach. Taking my time to articulate evenly through both sides of my spine on that spine corrector. Trying to keep my pelvis nice and even, right to left, left to right. Rooting the backs of my thigh bones in the lip of the spine corrector. So I stay long and spacious in the front of my hips. Again, nice strong reach through my arms, wrists, fingers long and reaching. Nice supple spine. Now I'll draw my pelvis forward to the lip, articulate my spine back, stretch up and over. And now nod my chin to my chest, support my head and neck, and continue with single leg circles. So supporting my head with my hands, looking down the ridge of my nose to soften top sternum, bottom sternum, abdomen to spine, hips level. And side 2. Notice my standing leg. It stays really strong and integrated. Knees a little bent. Drawing circles. Spacious hips. Reach my arms, lengthen, and then nod my chin, and I roll up, continuing with rolling like a ball. Holding onto my ankles, rounding my spine, and just nice and easy, not too big, nice and controlled, trying to maintain a C curve, having the support of the spine corrector to help me buoyantly come right back up. Feeling my glutes and hamstrings as I come upright on those two sit bones with my nice C-curve spine. Elbows are wide, back is broad and wide. Deep, deep breaths. Feels so good. And then situate your hips forward at the lip, roll back, so you're in a good position for a series of 5. And pull, pull, and switch, pull, pull, switch, pull, pull, switch, pull, pull, switch, keeping my hips level, working evenly through my legs, even though it's asymmetrical, one knee in, one leg long. And I'm going to stretch, double leg stretch. And I'm going to keep using my breath to help me expand my ribs, my diaphragm into the back of the spine corrector, reaching my arms out of my low back, stretching my legs in opposition, tractioning my whole body, head to toe. Feels so good. Stretching my legs up and scissor, pull, pull, scissor, switch, pull, pull, scissor, switch. And I use the bottom lip of the barrel to help me bring my long leg back up. My hands are there to catch my ankle and give it a pull, pull. Light leg, strong center, elbows wide, shoulders back. Hands laced behind my head, double leg lower lift. It's nice to go low with the spine corrector because you have that lip of the end of the spine corrector to help you give yourself a boost to lift your legs up, deepening at your center, low belly in, pubic bone to navel, and then right into the crisscross, rotating in my waist ribs, elbows wide, back broad, chest expansive. After the crisscross, sit up on top of the apex of the spine corrector for the spine stretch forward. This is nice as it gives you a nice seat, great leverage for your feet to press down into the Cadillac. It really allows you to lift up and over. Really find a nice strong reach forward, a nice strong counter pull back, broadening low, middle, upper spine. Feel the glutes and hamstrings taut as the feet leverage down into the Cadillac. This one is just simply delicious. And then transition back down into the lip of the barrel for open leg rocker. Again, nice support here for open leg rocker, working on that balance, keeping that powerhouse really strong and pulling in and up, lengthening the spine, reaching the thighs. Find a little bit more lift with each repetition. Collarbones opening, head and neck extending. Closing the legs, and then go ahead, articulate your spine down the back of the spine corrector. So the back of the scapula, base middle skulls anchored on the Cadillac. Back ribs are flush up against the back of the spine corrector. And I continue here with my corkscrew, squeeze my legs together. And it's a beautiful massage of the left spine, right spine. Each get a turn. Keep pulling my legs to midline, sensing my center line. And then I'm just lowering, lifting my legs here, trying to not lose my connection of my back body, broadening into the spine corrector. Then I'll continue with some simple frogs, squeezing my heels, knees go outer hip distance width apart as I flex my knees and my hips. And I reach my legs long and forward as I keep my back connected up and in that spine corrector. I'll then continue with some circles. Careful not to lower my legs too far to pull my posture down with my thighs. So again, strong two-way stretch from the core of my pelvis. Now reverse my circles, working from my pelvic center. Again, feet are just an extension. They're following what my thigh bones are doing in the hip socket. My neck is long, my gaze is at the ceiling, and then I'll transition right into simple scissors. I keep energy reaching up through my top right leg as I reach my left leg long and switch. Again, I only lower my leg as far as I can keep my back lifted and broadening in opposition into that spine corrector. Wide collarbone, wide, broad shoulders. And another variation of scissors here. I meet my legs at a 45-degree angle from my hips, and then I scissor split my legs from that point and then meet back at 45. A little more advanced. Again, with with strength, split your legs in opposition of one another, keeping your pelvis nice and stable. And then continuing with a simple bicycle, light, free legs, full range of motion, reaching out of the pelvic center. Just riding your bicycle, and then I'll reverse. Again, find that extension through the kneecap, through the center of ankle, spreading our toes. And again, I continue to take deep breaths, connecting front to back body. And I'm going to ground my feet in the lip, continue with my shoulder bridge, supported shoulder bridge. Feels so good to keep my back, pelvis supported on that spine corrector, feeling that support, enjoying it. And then kicking my leg up on the in-breath and reach it down on the out-breath. Such a great way to open up the front spine. And then into my helicopter. Starting with the legs together, I'll split the legs apart, circle them wide in the hip. Finish the circle, then meet together at 90 degrees. Again, let the action start at the hip socket, feeling those femur bones move in the pelvis, in the hip. And then circles on top of the head. This is my ultimate favorite on the spine corrector. Such a beautiful way to lengthen the front spine, stretch your psoas, but also supportive for your back body. The back of the pelvis has somewhere to rest on, to connect into. And you have leverage to help the legs pull back up. Big wide arms, reaching my arms out of the small of my back. Being careful not to dump all the weight on my head, but distribute my body's weight evenly through the bony landmarks that are on the spine corrector and Cadillac. So pelvis, back of the calves, a little bit into the back of the skull, crown of head region, keeping the back of the neck long. And then just a simple exercise here. It's called Jay's exercise. I'm going to keep my legs long, flex my feet, keep them flexed, draw my hips toward one another, point my toes, and same thing. I keep a nice angle. Find that external rotation of my femur bone in the hip, inner knee to outer knee. Feel my external rotators working, my inner thighs lengthening. And as I stretch out through your toes, reaching from the front of the quadricep, and as I stretch out through my heels, I reach out from the back of my sit bone. And then a simple massage of my spine. Here I go, hip, hip, rib, rib, shoulder, shoulder, and circle my whole spine, broaden that spine corrector. I reverse the circle. Such a delicious stretch. Being careful not to just dump into my head here, neck. Hip, hip, rib, rib, shoulder, shoulder, circle around. Such a great way to open the back. This is sort of like a can-can now. I draw knees to left shoulder, knees to right shoulder, knees to left shoulder, keeping my right shoulder heavy. I stretch through my legs. And so good. Take a moment, rest, press the barrel away, and resting my top of my thighs now on top of the spine corrector. Deep belly breaths. Reset. Okay, now continuing on top of the spine corrector, positioning my waistline right on top of the apex of the spine corrector between ribs and pelvis. Provides a lot of support and helps me traction my spine. Continuing into a nice bow pose, I reach back from my feet. I kick back, but I continue to stretch my heart forward through my shoulders, broadening my front spine and my back spine. Then continue to stretch long and take a swim. Right arm and left leg lift, and then left arm and right leg lift. Find a nice rhythm. Keep a nice fluid breath. Strong back, long front, strong hamstrings, glutes. And then continue with grasshopper. Inhale, look up, lift up. Exhale, lower down, lifting my thighs and beating them back down to lift up. Really using the spine corrector to to leverage the front of my rib cage so I can stretch my thighs out of my waistline as if my legs grew up into my rib cage. Shoulders are broad, arms are easy. Then I'm going to scoot back, take a nice rest here, elbows to the apex, stretching through the triceps all the way down into the lats, softening, lifting my front waist ribs to help me create a more expansive width and stretch in my back body. And continuing with some side bends. Such a simple yet so effective exercise. Articulating on the spine corrector to go down and then peeling up off it to lift up. Feeling rib by rib all the way into my armpit, chest, long neck. Hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked. Strong standing right top thigh. And I'll take a little rotation, reach my arms out of my low back. Such a beautiful spinal rotation, breathing deeply. And press down to lift up. I'll take a quick counter stretch here, opening my left side body from my hip all the way up into my armpit, elbow, and then of course side two. So standing strong on my top left thigh. It's important to keep toning and lifting the inner upper left thigh up, especially as I go down over the barrel and of course lift back up. So I stay strong and steadfast in my left leg, using my low abdomen to help me pick myself up. Elbows are wide, chest is open, back body is broad. And then I'll take my rotation, rotating my waist ribs, hips still stay stacked. Deep breaths, reaching my hands out of my low back. And then taking a quick counter stretch here, right arm up and side bending. Find some lift and length from my right hip to my right armpit, elbow. Continue with some teasers. Using that spine corrector to give me feedback. I can articulate my low back, mid back, all the way up to my scapula. And then my legs get a turn down and up. I use the lip of the barrel to help me lift my legs buoyantly back up. Catch my feet and then I fold in half. Elbows wide, shoulders back, smiling, lifting, lengthening, stretching my thighs. And then continuing with some more teasers here. Starting again with the upper body. Keep that strong reach forward. Head in line with the spine. Low powerhouse helps me pick my thighs back up, reaching forward. And again, I fold in half. This is my trademark move right here. It just feels so good to open and expand my back body. Trying to lift my back evenly, get my legs as vertical as I can, right out of the pelvis. And here we go one more time. Now I will lengthen my arms and legs away at the same time, finding a strong oppositional stretch from my pelvic center. I float my arms up first before I lift my head, just so I have a little more leverage. And last time here, I'll fold in half here, reaching up to my ankles, flex my feet, point my, and not forgetting to smile. I hope everyone has a beautiful day. Take it easy out there.